Gabonese military removes President. Bongo say election lacks credibility. Building collapse kills 6, injures others in Borno IDP camp. Medical doctors in Abuja begin 3-day warning strike. And away from Nigeria, torrential rains kill at least 21 people in Tajikistan. These are the headlines on Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for joining. A group of senior Gabonese military officers appeared on national television announcing a military takeover just minutes after the state election body announced President Ali Bongo had won a third term. The officers said that they represented all security and defense forces in the Central African nation. The officers also cancelled the election results, declaring all borders closed until further notice and state institutions dissolved. The servicemen introduced themselves as members of the Committee of Transition and the Restoration of Institutions. Meanwhile, Gabon's President Ali Bongo has called on friends of Gabon all over the world to make noise as a coup attempt was underway. Bongo appeared in a video seated in a chair with a bookshelf behind him. It was his first public appearance since the military takeover.
Ondimba, President of Gabon, and I'm to send a message to all the friends that we have all over the world to tell them to make noise, for the people here have arrested me and my family. My son is somewhere, my wife is in another place, and I'm at the residence. Right now, I'm in the residence and nothing is happening. I don't know what's going on. So I'm calling you to make noise, really. I'm thanking you. Thank you.
Now, joining us via Zoom for more perspectives on this, we have Jide Ojo, a political scientist and public affairs analyst. Thank you so much for joining us, Jide, on the news update.
Pleasure. My pleasure.
Well, it appears that the coups on the African continent have become contagious. Are we witnessing a repeat of history?
Well, you may say so. There is a presumption of democratic reversal across the African continent. And this is as a result of a lack of democratic ethos by the political leaders of Africa. One wish things were different, but unfortunately, many of the Francophone countries are now engulfed in Syria military takeover. And this is traceable to, first and foremost, the connivance and collusion of France in kind of assisting separatism in some of these African countries, coupled with maladministration, corruption, lack of good governance, as well as disputed elections. For the case of Ali Bongo, his family has ruled Gabon for 53 years, and you wonder whether there is no other person competent in the whole Gabon to govern the country. They've turned Gabon to monarchy, from father to son. And you could see that he altered the constitution of Gabon to get a third term in office. This is an obviously sick man whose health is suspect. In fact, a couple of years ago, he was alleged to have been struck by a stroke for over 1 year. This is a man that should ordinarily be attending to his health, but who still wants to stay put in power? And you could see that the military takeover, part of the reasons they took over was the disputed election, which they said was fraudulent, as well as, of course, issues around economic mismanagement, corruption, high cost of living in the country. and several other reasons. So, in summary, there is a democratic reversal in Africa, largely because of those factors I've mentioned.
Okay, well, amidst the celebration on the streets of Gabon, the president, or I would say the president, since it's a military takeover, is calling for his friends to make noise and to intervene, sort of. What should be the response of the international community with respect to this?
Unfortunately for him, I'm not sure he will have many sympathizers. And the reason being that he's asking his friends to make noise. Noise will not change the situation of the people of Gabon. The people that they have enslaved for over 53 years, the people that they have visited with a lot of hardship. Gabon is a is an oil-producing country, but look at if you go by statistics, the economic quagmire in Gabon is astronomical. It's next to Niger Republic, which just had the coup in the course of July 26, actually. So it tells you the story that, without good governance, you may not be able to resist the urge of military takeover in your country. The African Union, yes, I expect African Union to come out with a statement later today, or maybe in the course of the week. Incidentally, this does not fall within West African sub-region because Gabon happens to be in Central Africa. But be that as it may, it's instructive for other African leaders who are playing God, who are, illegally tinkering with their constitution, who are doing away with rule of law, that their days are numbers in power. And they need to be mindful that unless they engage in good governance, in rule of law, in due process, in transparency and accountable elections and, accountable governance, the military may be incentivized to take over reins of government in their country.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jide Ojo, for joining us on the news update and sharing your perspectives. Thanks.
It's a pleasure. Do have a great day.
All right, now moving on. At least 6 people were killed and 3 others injured when a classroom building collapsed in a displaced persons camp in Mongono local government area of Borno State on Monday. It was learned that a classroom sheltering dozens of displaced persons in Mongono camp collapsed on Monday evening, killing 6 persons, while others sustained various degrees of injuries. A member of the civilian JTF, Bakura Ali, told Daily Trust correspondent that the incident occurred due to a heavy downpour. 3 persons are said to be receiving treatment in the general hospital. Now, the managing director of Zabezet Limited, Adil Adin Kurta, says that the company is developing an industrial park to create 40,000 direct employment, which in turn will create 200 companies. He made this known while fielding questions from journalists during a visit to Trust Media Group head office in furtherance of corporate relations between the 2 companies. Kurta also says that media collaboration is key in the industrialization drive of his company.
We are developing an industrial park which is going to create 40,000 direct employees. As you know, we are also into the mining sector. We want to diversify our operation into industrialization. So according to this, there will be 200 factories. There will be free zone, railway stations, vocational training centers, support services, and this is going to be a sample project for Nigeria. It's going to be the first industrial park, which we want to also establish in different states, because we know the potential and the market and demand in Nigeria is huge. So according to this, we want to diversify our operations to industrialization.
So sir, when are we going to see this park coming to life, and then where are you going to situate it?
So it is in Idu industrial zone. It has been already started. We have finished already the 5 factories right now. We have started to manufacturing also in that sites. Directly as a group of company, we want to establish at least 10-15 factory by ourselves. Also, we want to attract to the foreign investors to come and to invest in Nigeria, to see the opportunities and potential of Nigeria. This is what we are trying to do also. We want to also, reach to at least everywhere with through the media. We want to make a collaboration because we want to collaborate and try to add a value together. We cannot do it alone. If we come together, we will add more to this country because we have potential in this country. More than 200 million population, market. Look at how China become a power, how the other countries becoming a power. So why we are not doing here? There is a lot of opportunity in this country which we can achieve to that stage.
APC supporters in Cross River State are protesting the appointment of a former commissioner for youth in Cross River State, Asu Okang, as commissioner representing the state on the board of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. The party-alleged appointee fought APC during the last general elections, urging President Bola Tinubu to rescind the appointment. Chairman of the APC in the state, Alphonsus Eba, said that the president was deceived to endorse such appointments, stressing that he and the party will ensure that such does not stand. A youth leader and Governor Basi Otu's aide, Ekpenyong Akiba, said that the governor was never consulted and the law was not followed in the appointment of Okang.
Freedom come, my struggle, freedom come.
The Medical and Dental Consultants Association of Nigeria in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, says that its members are set to commence on a 3-day warning strike. The association said the strike is premised on retirement letters issued to untenured doctors on grade level 17. In a letter, the FCT minister, the doctors said that the strike will begin Wednesday midnight, and the letter was signed by Emmanuel Musa, the MDCA and chairman, and Oko Ekete, its secretary general. The consultant said that the decision was reached at an emergency Congress meeting. The medical consultant said that they decided on the strike after efforts to reach an amicable resolution with the FCTA establishment failed. The medical consultants explained that the FCTA was the only administration that has misinterpreted, misapplied, and implemented the circular in Nigeria. The consultants called for an immediate withdrawal of the compulsory retirement letters to its members. Women in Bauchi State have been urged to avoid using unsanitary methods of menstrual hygiene to be safe from contracting infectious diseases. A medical practitioner, Abdulsalam Abdulaziz, made the call while commenting on the increased cases of transmitted disease among women. Trust TV's Adam Muima reports.
Recent reports shows that number of cases of sexual transmitted diseases among women nowadays is on the high. Against this background, a medical practitioner appeals to women to maintain using disinfectant sanitary pad for good hygiene despite economic challenges.
When you have an infection through the use of unhygienic means during menstruation, when you compare the cost of treatment to you buying the proper pad, you'll see that by and large, you are still, to get that properly made pad is better off than using the locally made stuff. So I think we want to use this opportunity to actually tell women that, we understand the economic realities. Things are hard, but it is still, health can never be, it can never be too expensive. And one should actually try and prevent these infections, diseases, conditions. To prevent them is better than actually going for cure.
Some women who spoke to Trust TV within the state capital shared their experiences while using sanitary pads during menstrual cycle. They explained that high cost of living also contribute to why some women are using alternative means.
Sanitary pads for their monthly menstrual flow is difficult these days, considering the hike in prices, the cost of living. For me, the last time I bought a pad actually was 2 years back, because I think I've stopped. So the last time I bought it was 300 naira, but I think the cost of living is really pathetic for women. And then using alternative means aside from sanitary pads for me is not hygienic.
Make use of during this monthly cycle are too expensive, and for the economic situation we are now, people cannot really afford it. So there are so many sensitization campaigns on menstrual hygiene, and which with this economic hardship, vis-a-vis, we are, contradicting ourselves. We are promoting hygiene, yet we can't even use, clean sanitary pads. So I'll call on well-to-do and meaningful Nigerians to support our women, especially in the rural areas, to really have best practices on menstrual hygiene.
It's not a hygienic because when it is time for rainy season like this, you cannot have enough sun to dry it up, and it can affect your health. But that of the sanitary pad every lady used to buy is good, yeah. But there are some that is still bad. I cannot say that all is good things.
He, however, advised government to prioritize awareness campaign against the danger of using unhygienic protection by women. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
You're watching the news updates on Trust TV. Coming up shortly, we take a look at ways people with disabilities embrace agriculture. Details and more after the break. Welcome back. You're watching the news update on Trust TV. A look at the top stories again. Gabonese military removes president, say that election lacks credibility. Building collapse kills 6, injures others in Borno IDP camp. Now to a tragic story. Pa Taiwo Akinkunmi, OFR, who designed Nigeria's flag, is dead. Akinkunmi died in the early hours of Tuesday after a brief illness. One of his children announced his death on Facebook. The native of Abeokuta in Ogun State was born on May 10, 1936, but lived in Ibadan until his demise. He attended Baptist Day Secondary School, Ibadan, for his primary education and Ibadan Grammar School, Ibadan, for his secondary education. He started his career as a civil servant at the Secretariat of Ibadan and later traveled overseas to study agricultural engineering at Norway Teaching Technical College. In 1958, during his stay abroad, Akinkunmi stumbled upon an advertisement in a national daily calling for the submission of designs for the Nigeria's national flag in view of Nigeria's imminent independence from British governance. His entry was adjudged the best among the roughly 2,000 entries submitted. Now, Akinkunmi's design was selected because the green brands represent the forest and abundant natural wealth of the country, while the white band represents peace. Now, the flag was officially hoisted on Independence Day, October 1, 1960, instead of the British Union Jack. Akinkunmi was awarded £100 by the government when his design was selected. He has also been honored with the Member of the Order of the Niger award by President Goodluck Jonathan. Stakeholders in agribusiness in Osun State have called on policymakers to review the state's agricultural policies to encourage the participation of women and persons with disability. The call was made against the backdrop of the difficulties experienced by smallholder farmers, especially women and persons with disability. Hamid Oyegbade reports.
18 years after the agricultural policy of Osun State government was put together, it has evolved as successful administrations in the state built on it. But farmers and other agribusiness stakeholders in the state want these policies reviewed and improved upon to be inclusive and accommodate modern farming techniques.
It is possible for a person with disability to go into farming because we are in different cluster groups. If we get full support of government, the international donor, the NGOs, with the aids and accessible area like those on wheelchair, they can fry gari. So through this, if government can provide a machine that will special, that if person with disability want to fry his or her own gari, we will not be using maybe charcoal or anything. So we just want anything that will ease our production.
Some of the problems facing women in agriculture, whether into production or processing, number one is security. We need an enabling environment where you can go to your farm or your factory without being afraid, or maybe somebody is there to kidnap or to embarrass women. Another thing is the database. We need to know how many of us are into this business.
To this end, development partners are supporting stakeholders to reform the agriculture policy of Osun State government.
Agriculture policy of the state has been there for the past 18 years. And you must agree with me that a lot of things have happened from 18 years back till now. And so there are new innovations, there are new way of handling farmers, there is new way of planting, you know. So it's a whole review. In fact, it's the development of a new sector policy.
So this will give us an opportunity to look at what's going on globally and then be able to incorporate it in what we're doing so that we can really advance and move forward the agri sector. You remember that in the 5-point agenda of my governor, His Excellency Senator Nuruddin Ademola Adeleke, agriculture forms one of the key areas with which he wants to drive the economy of the state.
The farmers expressed hope that the reform will enhance inclusive agribusiness in the state. Hamid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
Now in sports news, Chelsea have an interest in signing Manchester City and England on the 21's forward Cole Palmer. It is understood that no official bid has yet been made. Now, manager Mauricio Pochettino has said that the Blues may look to bring in one more offensive player during this transfer window, but insists a new recruit will have to fit the right profile. Palmer can play in various positions both in the forward line and midfield. He was part of the England youth side which won the European Under-21 Championship earlier this summer. The 21-year-old has started the season well at City and scored in both the UEFA Super Cup win over Sevilla and the Community Shield loss to Arsenal. City manager Pep Guardiola has previously said that Palmer will not be allowed to leave on loan. West Ham had been interested in signing him earlier this summer, but that was thought to be a loan approach. Still in sports news, the global record for transfer spending in a single window has been broken this summer. The previous high was set in 2019 when clubs spent a collective £6.51 billion. But this summer, £6.56 billion has been spent worldwide, according to Transfer Market. Premier League outlay has reached £2.1 billion, rendering it the highest spending division by far. The window remains open and Premier League teams can make signings until 2300 on 1st of September. Our total spending in Saudi Arabia is currently at £728 million, putting the Saudi Pro League second on this summer's list, ahead of the £682 million Italy Serie A clubs have parted with. German Bundesliga clubs have spent £598 million so far, with France's Ligue 1 at £594 million and Spain's La Liga at £342 million. Saudi Arabia's wealthy public investment fund took control of 4 of the nation's top teams, Al Ittihad, Al Nasser, and Al Hilal, and Al Ahly earlier this year, while big money transfers have also been made involving the Gulf states' other top flight sides. Neymar, Alan Saint-Maxim, and Jordan Henderson are among the players who have moved to Saudi Arabia on lucrative contracts. And that wraps it up for the news update. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also on our YouTube live stream. I am Ayuba Ile. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.